Well, hello there. My name is HW, and thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV. Did you know that the best Kemper profiles are free? Well, they sort of are, but best is a relative term. What's best for you might not be best for me. What's best with my Red Eastman might not be best with my PRS-y kind of Les Paul-y thing. Although probably those guitars are a little bit similar. But maybe what's best with my Strat is not best with my ES335 style guitar. So best relative thing. It's tough for me when people ask, HW, what's the best pack you've ever made? What's the best? It's hard to answer questions about the best without having some qualifying information, like what sound are you into, what guitar are you playing, what kind of tone are you going for? What do you think is the best tone you've ever heard, the best amp? What are qualities you like? Now, I personally am a tone junkie. I love all amps. I could never choose the best amp. Some of my favorite amps are the Stu G 62 AC. That's an all-time favorite, although I love the 90s AC30. I play that almost every week. The 2-rec pack, phenomenal, but on a totally different end of the spectrum. I think the Triple Crown pack is amazing, and of course, right now, I am so in love with the 57 Tweed Band Kemper Profile pack. It just has the most organic, beautiful, touch sensitive. It's like being transported back in time. But it's impossible for me to tell you which is the best profile of all time. But did you know that I always give away my favorite profiles from every pack for free? Always, all the time. And the way to get those free profiles, the only way to get those free profiles, is to be signed up for the Tone Junkie email. It's on every page of the Tone Junkie site. I straight up give away what I think are the best profiles from the pack. But HW, I thought you didn't have favorites. I thought it was dependent on the guitars. Exactly. They're my favorite with some of the guitars that I have. I might find a Strat and think, this is amazing with this different, profile. This Strat bridge with this thing, or this Telly neck with this thing. And that's what sort of shapes my overall favorite profiles. But I don't believe in sweet spots. I don't believe that one spot on the amp is the perfect spot, To me, tone is an equation. And so what's the sweet spot for my Strat is different than what's the sweet spot for a 335 or a set of Lambertone Ristrettos or something like that, right? So here's an example. Here are 3 free profiles that we recently gave away in Tone Junkie emails. If you want them, well, the only way to get them was to be signed up for the Tone Junkie emails last week, but don't worry, I will make them available in the Tone Junkie free pack. If you don't have that free pack, go to the website, sign up. We try not to spam you. We just send you really cool profiles and, videos of me talking about the Kemper and stuff. If you're into that, cool. This is a good time to hit like and subscribe. If you're not into that, why are you watching this video? This is about free, great profiles. So, what's my favorite profiles from the 57 band Tweed Band pack? Here's the first one. And again, tone is an equation. This is a Strat set on the neck. This is one of my all-time favorite tones that we've ever recorded. And it's the Tweed Band, the 57 Tweed Band M3 profile. Now, what is M? M stands for microphone. So there's a little less presence than in the instrument channel. So we've got a little warmer thing going on. There might even be a tad more gain. It's really hard to tell with this amp, but it's a little different. It doesn't have all the top end present, but the Strat on the neck is providing this beautiful sort of brightness that really counteracts that warmer channel of the amp. And what's used here is a Royer 121 and a 57. So these are not the fattest of the tones in the pack. They're actually, they're full sounding, but they're not the fattest because that Royer gives a very warm and fat bass. But I wouldn't call it extra fat, extra thick, like a fathead is. It's warm and round. Those are the adjectives I should be using. Warm and round. Check out this tone. It's the Suze playing on the neck of the Strat. It's absolutely one of my favorite tones we've ever captured on Tone Junkie TV. Check it out. Whenever people in the YouTube comments or on Facebook or something say, sounds digital, I'm going to send them that clip and say, you're deaf. Because that is seriously monster tone. The warmth of that microphone channel, you heard the Suze hit that low E string. It's round, it's not overly percussive, but it's clear and it's thick, it's warm. It's so warm, I need to turn on the AC. It's so beautiful. That is seriously one of my favorite tones you've ever captured. It all just works well together. The Strat, the mics, the amp, it's an equation, the API pre's. Oh, that is a tone. That is a tone. Could we just play that again? Okay, favorite profile from the 57 Tweed Band Pack number 2 has got to be the 906-3. Now, we've got the amp set up the same way, but now we're on the instrument channel, and we've got the 906. Now, here's what you got to remember about microphones. You're always applying the microphone EQ over any amp you capture. So if it's a 906, you're always hearing characteristics of that 906. Now, some people might think, well, how can that be? Everything sounds like a 906 if you use a 906. Imagine it like a picture, and you're putting a filter on that image. All the images are going to share the characteristics of that filter, but you could be looking at a picture of a dog or the picture of a Mona Lisa. They're going to be vastly different images, and the beauty of that filter may or may not really come out because of the contents of that image. Sound is just as complex as a visual image. The ears are picking up and recording just as much information as the eyes. We just have to learn to sort of discern and parse out pieces of the sound like we can parse out pieces of a picture. You know, I kind of think of Bob Ross when I think of this. You know, it's like, oh, look at that little rabbit there. He's just hiding in this little bush. I'm just painting it right now. Sound is the same way. You can listen to a guitar tone and you can focus in on just the bass. You can focus on just what is the treble doing to the low notes on the guitar? What is the percussive nature of the lowest notes? Or what is the fatness, the mid-range that's sort of present in the highest notes? How fat is the high end? How rolled off is it? All of those things are in tone if you just take the time to listen to it. So listen to this little clip of me playing in a video about a 1957 Bandmaster. I was showing off the profiles and I did a little looping, and here is my Strat again. Now I'm on the neck also, but listen how different this Strat kind of sounds than the last one, because again, 906 instrument channel. 906 gives you a really nice sort of brighter EQ. It doesn't have the bassiest low end, but for a dynamic microphone, it's quite full. But it really gives a nice 2K push. Now listen to that same guitar, but now tone is an equation again. Different player, different mood, different amp channel, different microphone, same pre's, same settings on the amp. Check this out. I think the Strat sounds just beautiful here in a different way. hear there, the EQ of that 906, it's snappy on top. That's the sound of a dynamic microphone. You can hear those upper mid-range frequencies, 2K, maybe even 3K up there. Just at one point I hit a little sort of like a dyad that's almost like an A minor in that key. It's like we're in the key of C there, and it's the third and the sixth, and it just, you can hear the percussive sort of snappy nature. It sort of snaps like a whip and just gives you this sort of just beautifully present, punchy, in-your-face quality. And it's really kind of those frequencies that help the live guitar sound come out. I think it's a beautiful pairing of that guitar and this microphone, and that's why we recorded it there and used that microphone for these profiles, because we have not done this in the past. But I had people telling me that the 906 by itself, they liked it better than all the combinations of ribbon and dynamic that we've done in the past. Now, I know it's a love fest of the Strat going on, but I want to show you some other tones, actually two other tones. Tone is an equation, so same setting here, same amp, same profile, same everything, but two different guitars. This is FI4. That means we're using the fat head, so we're getting a really fat low end, thick low end, where that Royer was nice and warm and sort of warm and bold. We're now getting some low end that just sort of melds into the low mids. And this is that full, fat, almost congested kind of sound. It's really a cool sound. With a single coil on the right guitar, it really sounds great. Now this is profile number 4. So the amp is, number 3 was about straight up and down on the dial. So this is a 1 to 12 or 0 to 12 dial on these old Fenders. So number 3, the number 3 profile was at like 6. We're now up there and we're getting to 9-ish on the dial, and it's really, really a beautiful, beautiful amount of breakup. The amp is cooking, and we have lots of that tweedy low-end mid-range, and that fits really nicely with the highs and the lows of a Tele bridge, which is just sort of bridgy and snarly and snappy, and it sounds great. I don't know how many other adjectives I can throw at a tone, but it sounds great, it's aggressive, and it sounds like the 1950s, or how I imagine they sound. I wasn't alive then. If right now I can smell like the smell of a tube amp, that sounds so authentic. It's like that hot glass smell, that tube amps have, that slight burning. It's when like the dye on the tubes heats up, and when they get hot enough and then you touch the dye that says, Telephonic or Groove Tubes or whatever, you can actually rub it off. That's the smell of that dye, that ink kind of heating up and getting liquefied again. It's the old Transformer smell, that like waxy cosmoline stuff that's on there when it gets nice and hot, and it just smells like hot glass. I mean, that's what I think of when I hear that tone. And what's interesting to me is how much of that tone is the amp and how much is the guitar, because what I hear there is the guitar adding a ton of definition from that Tele bridge. Case in point, check out this next clip where we have a Sir JM Pro and we have these fatter P90 pickups. Now you might be thinking, well, HW, we're already fat with the fat head. How much more fatness do we need? We need all the fatness, guys, all of the fatness. This is what tone is about, variety and beautiful stuff. Now check this out. You just heard how sort of steely and high-endy we could be with that Tele. But now listen to these hotter pickups, these fatter sounding pickups on top of the fat head. But guys, Remember, we're on the instrument channel, not the mic channel. See, with that first Strat clip, we needed some warmth from the mic channel to counteract the Strat. Now we're on the instrument channel, increased presence, but we've got a fatter guitar. That's not dark, but it is thicker. And we've got this fat head, and we've got a lot of gain. And you're going to hear sort of a barking rumble that wasn't quite there with the Telly. And it's because the Telly was trying to bring steely, clear qualities. But now we're hearing from the P90s a bit more bark and bite. Check this out. There's a reason that is my number one Git fiddle, because it sounds freaking great no matter what you put it through. I love those P90s, and I love Sir guitars. I love that JM Pro. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been HW. I hope you enjoyed me breaking down some of my favorite profiles. And again, they're free. I went and added them to the Tone Junkie free pack, so please go check them out if you haven't. Hit like and subscribe on this video if you haven't already. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Like I said, if you're not signed up for those emails, you gotta be getting the Tone Junkie emails. I break down all the stuff happening in the Kemperverse that week. The Kemper show, Kemper tips and tricks, new profile packs. We've got a blog coming really soon, and there's some episodes of the podcast that get in there. Plus, Kemper through history images, the forgotten history of the Kemper, we like to call it. Hey dudes, I've been HW. Thanks so much for watching. HW, out.